up their ante in Afghanistan
But you
and
don't know
elsewhere
that
in
he
the world,
hasn't done
and they
that.
haven't
You
done it.
don't know. I think he has. I think that's. I don't think he'd be announcing this if he didn't have that commitment from these guys.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, because the big mistake that he's made, and I think we talked about it last time I was here, was he's really bad. I think Obama's particularly bad at managing expectations. I don't think he's making that mistake anymore. Right. So while we're all expecting 30,000, the number's going to be higher. It's going to come from elsewhere. So there's going to be a greater number going in.
I am unlike Bush. But I'm not the I'm not the cowboy.
But that is not going to change.
I didn't mean those cowboys. I mean a diplomatic cowboy. I'm not a diplomatic cowboy. You know, I've gone George Bush the first route and gotten an out of the line.
It says Obama picked 30,000 because that was what was on his teleprompter. It's Dan McCarthy, but let's dig a little deeper. He picked 30,000 because he's listening to Gates and Clinton, who are Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense, or he's listening to Rahm Emanuel and Axelrod, who are Secretaries of Politics.
It's such a great argument. I mean, we threw money at AIG. At AIG, at a bunch of rogue traders who were sitting over in London in derivatives office. Nobody even knew what the hell they were doing.
$180 billion to
AIG. You know, so this.
Being a Democrat on a panel show like this stinks now. You guys take your power back.
You want to be the Dem, you're going to be the Dem. But if we can build bridges for turtles, can't we give our troops the support they need?
Exactly. It's just a joke.
Well, but it's a debate. I mean, to me, I don't know. It strikes me as odd as I kind of voted to get out of Iraq, not to shift everything over to Afghanistan.
So as a Democrat,
you voted for the wrong guy because Obama has said from the beginning this is a war of necessity, which I agree with, and Iraq wasn't, which I also agree with. He's going to go fight this war. He has to. This is what he campaigned on. This is what he campaigned on.
So how do you, as a Democrat, reconcile that? I mean, if you, the entire reason
I
Obama
reconcile by
became...
quitting talk shows for the next 2 years.
But I mean, think about it this way. Obama, the only reason he became the Democratic nominee over Hillary Clinton is on the anti-war stance. He opposed Iraq from the very beginning. The left got out and they supported him, right? And that's how he defeated Hillary. Now he comes around and he's doing exactly what Bush did circa 2006, right? 2007, with the surge in Iraq. Yeah. So doesn't he look like Bush?
But he can answer the phone at 3 in the morning. He can answer the phone at 3 in the morning.
Didn't the surge work?
Yeah, but the surge did work, but this is, I mean, you can't really compare the surges. I mean, Afghanistan is so fundamentally different on the ground. I mean, for example, there's no central government.
It's 40 years later Vietnam. There's caves. How are we supposed to do that? We couldn't do jungles, we can't do caves.
It's a question, this is why you have to define what Monica's calling the exit strategy and I'm calling the end game. This is why you have to say what the objectives are, and frankly, I do think this is one of the reasons Obama took way too long to make this decision. But I think that part of that decision-making process is, what are we trying to shoot for? He can't be unrealistic enough to think we can build a strong central government in Afghanistan. That is not going to occur. So the question is, how do you buddy up with enough of these tribal leaders to keep to keep Al-Qaeda out of the country? That's really the question.
And you know, they're doing everything they can do to stick a finger in our eye because they perceive that the president is weak. If this is part of the calculation, upping the troop levels in Afghanistan in order to have greater leverage over the Iranians, then that might be something that we haven't heard, and you know, I think it...
Come over to my side of the table if that's the deal?
Well, I will certainly give him his props.
I always relate things, Monica, to football. And, you know, you put the guys on both sides of the borders of Iran, and that kind of reminds me of all-out pressure, all-out blitz, you know, on Iran. I know that's bad, but at the end of the day, I can definitely relate to that now, and it sounds like a great plan.
That might be the only thing that they respond to, too, come to think of it.
Well, of course, it's the only thing the Iranians are going to respond to is the threat of the use of force. You don't even have to use force, but it's the threat of the use of force.
What's the number, the troop
in Iraq?
In Iraq?
It's about 100, right? I mean, we're drawing down very gradually.
And figure out if the military is like, hey, thanks a lot, we need 40, you're giving us 30, or are they, hey, thanks a lot, we got 30 coming.
Well,
I bet you, I'm telling you, I think you're going to wind up with a total number of 40. I think he's going to say he's got 30 plus 10.
Otherwise, there's no way they can be happy. If they ask for, you got to listen to them. I mean, he's a civilian. You got to listen to them.
On Fox,
there's got to be
on
40.
The
you must be right.
And you can also scale down the mission a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying I support that. I've said a million times I'm in favor of 40,000. If McChrystal wants 40, you give him 40. Period. Put the guy in charge. Tell him what to do. He says, okay, this is what I need to do. You got to give him the resources. Right. It doesn't matter. It's corporate management 101.
Which is why your original theory, I bet, is correct.
You know, and the other reason it carries so much weight, McChrystal's recommendation.
In Afghanistan, too. Yeah. He gave us insight, like, you know, if I was the Americans, I wouldn't send anybody else over there, and I would withdraw.
You got to wonder, I mean, Didn't somebody give him the rule book before he went into the White House? Like, just agree with what the president says to some extent.
But that was the power of Biden, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the appeal of Biden,
But
that he had
that's
all this foreign policy experience, and he could get up in the president's grill and be honest with him?
Yeah.
Well,
He's
he
honest.
lost that debate.
He's honest. Yeah.
He had to a fault.
I mean, you know what? Think about Cheney and Bush post them being in the White House together. Obviously, they had some differences of opinion. Not when they were together in the White House.
Well, no, they actually did. I mean, they had a huge argument over pardoning Scooter Libby.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
And they did.
But that was not a big issue. That was a junior varsity
But
issue.
they also had
That
some
wasn't war.
serious.
It wasn't war.
They also had some serious policy differences over how to deal with Iran. I mean, Cheney wanted a lot more aggressive sanctions on what's
hero
happening
shot
over
there.
Look at this, Bolling.
Whoa. Oh my
Bolling.
God.
We can see your ear hair. That's
I have nothing to do with that. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for pointing that out.
is going for.
We hear the question. There's
But when you hit the field every Sunday, you're like, okay, we're hitting the field, we're
And
going to
you're
win
gonna-
this.
and
We're
give
not
it all you
playing,
got,
you know,
yes.
in a half.
He didn't really
well,
try in the last
half-
game.
I sure
I'm
did.
kidding.
Wait, we only have a
the
couple
other
more
thing.
minutes, but
You know how to win the game. Like, you score more points, the other team, it goes to
Absolutely.
0-0-0, you win.
The violence.
This is
That's what we're
extremely
waiting
good.
for.
great
We're
topic.
waiting for
We'll
that.
do it next time.
Okay.
We'll bring it up next time. Eric, where can we find you?
Readthevote.org or erichopr.com.
Yeah, Rick.
And I'll be at the Giant game watching you win, buddy. And checking
That's
out
right.
that defensive record to get maybe better seats.
I know. You won't get better seats.
Danny, what's the rest of the week look like for you?
I gotta go back to work tomorrow. We're going to go get it done with our
Please.
redefined attitude and come back and bring a win for New York.